Miss May, my faithful, delightful listeners, I am back earlier than I anticipated. I last left you just as I was about to leave for Arran to spend a few days up until Christmas with my cousin Humphrey, but business called, literally. I was sitting by my cousin's roaring fire in a rather lumpy armchair when my cellular device began to ring. I thought, oh, who is this now? The workers back at Edinburgh Silver better not have destroyed the office. But alas, it was not my dim workers. The number I did not recognise, and I was reluctant to answer. But nonetheless, I did. A familiar shiver ran through my fur as I realised who was on the other end of the line. Ho, ho, ho. It was Mr. Santa Claus, again. I excused myself from my cousin's company and took the call in the dining room. Mr. Claus, a pleasure to hear from you again. How may I help you? A reluctant welcoming on my behalf. Izzy, from Edinburgh Silver. Ho, ho, ho. How good it is to hear from you again, my dear friend. I hope you have been well. I shall get straight to the, point. I am rather ashamed and saddened to admit that my workload appears to have gotten the better of me this year, and I am struggling to meet my quotas and keep my elves in check. I had to stifle a chortle. And so what I am really phoning to ask you about is, well, yes, Mr. Claus, I questioned. Well, I was hoping that I could fly you back out here to Lapland, all expenses paid, and get my business model back into shape before Christmas time is upon us. Well, I was sold at all expenses paid, so from the pure goodness of my heart and the slight boredom of staying with my rather unfruitful cousin Humphrey, I accepted this rather unexpected and unusual call. I packed my bags, made my excuses to dear Humphrey, and so I was organised to leave for the airport in Lapland the next morning, whilst pondering about Mr. Santa Claus and his business. He really must have been struggling, but it was a very good start to phone myself up. He is smarter than I initially thought upon my first meeting with him. But really, who better to fly over to sort things out than Izzy from Edinburgh Silver? And so I made the journey to Lapland, Finland, once again. Nothing new there. Business class once again, all paid for with no worries. It was bliss. I landed in Finland and was taken straight to the land in which Mr. Claus dwelled, Lapland. If I remember correctly, I actually swore to myself that I would never, ever, ever, ever return because it was far too cold for a dog of my size. But when business calls, business calls. It is my duty to help out fellow businessmen and make their companies a lot more successful, like mine. And so, I have arrived in that darling little wooden cabin I stayed in on my last visit. It was the highlight, if I'm going to be honest. I unpacked my faux lizard skin suitcase, had a quick 30 minutes power nap, then set off through the snow from my cabin to make my way to Mr. Santa Claus's workshop to see what I could whip into shape. Upon entering Santa's workshop, I immediately understood why he had rung me up. There was tinsel and Christmas wreaths and boxes and toys and mince pies just all over the place. In hindsight, I'm pretty sure I actually saw one of the elves' pointed boots poking up from under some Christmas wrapping as if he was lost in a world of present wrapping, but I just let him carry on with it. I stepped over the mess and made my way through to the main part of the workshop. I met Mr. Santa Claus in there and was very kindly greeted. He was flushed in the face and looking a dash thinner than I first remember. Something must be wrong. Oh, Izzy, I really cannot thank you enough for coming out here again. Things have just piled on top of us here and we're struggling to make things happen. Well, Mr. Claus, I replied, it's all well and good to treat your employees all lovely and generously, but look where that gets you at times. I saw an elf engulfed in wrapping paper at the front door, and I am pretty sure I saw another one having a nap under the Christmas tree as I came in. That, Mr. Santa Claus, is why you are not reaching your full potential. Rules and regulations make a business tick over beautifully. Now, if you would kindly pass me that clipboard and a list of things that need done, I shall get started. Mr. Claus seemed rather taken aback, but I knew what had to be done. I ordered all the elves to stand in front of me and explained that I have been called here to Lapland to get this business running smoothly again, and I shall not stop until Christmas has been saved. I spoke to them all on top of a worktop. We can make this company great once again, little elves. Your reputation can be restored and motivation shall be welcomed once more. It is time to pull up your wee pointed boots and get a move on. We can do this. They all looked at me rather confusedly, but nonetheless I drew up a list of things to do and wrote my top 5 Christmas business rules on a piece of paper and stuck it on the wall for them all to see. Number 1, do not rest until all the presents are ready. Number 2, do not speak to another co-worker until all the work is done. Number 3, reach your goals every day. Number 4, remember, we are an elite company. And number 5, work never sleeps. No snoozing until every boy and girl is happy with their gifts. I think that'll keep them motivated. And, in fact, I can say it did. They worked harder and quicker under my rules and they made excellent progress. I was rather proud of myself, but hardly surprised, because I didn't get the Top Business Dog of the Year Award 2014 for nothing. No. I must stop my blogging here for now, as I am extremely weary from all today's bossing around of everyone else. I'm here in Lapland up until Christmas Eve, my lovely listeners, so I shall be back on Wednesday to let you know what else is going on. Hopefully I shall get a break soon. Hopefully. Until then, my poppets. Ta-ta for now. Izzy at Edinburgh Silver.